For over a decade, 60 frames per second, 60 FPS, was considered the gold standard for smooth gaming. It struck a balance between performance and visual fluidity, and for many, it was the target to aim for. But times have changed. The rise of high refresh rate monitors, 120, 144, 240, and even 360 Hz, has changed the game, quite literally. Back when 60 Hz monitors were the norm, hitting 60 FPS meant your gameplay matched your screen's refresh rate. But now, 144 Hz monitors are more accessible than ever, even in budget builds. That means a 60 FPS experience feels noticeably sluggish, almost like watching a slideshow compared to what's possible. Think of it like this. 60 FPS is like driving a sports car stuck in second gear. It works, it moves fast enough, but it's not what the car was built for. You're not using its full potential. It's not just about how it looks, it's about how it feels. Higher frame rates produce input lag, improve motion clarity, and make fast-paced gameplay smoother and more responsive. In competitive games, this matters a lot, but even in single-player titles, the difference is hard to ignore once you've experienced it. Modern GPUs are far more capable than they were a few years ago. Paired with smarter upscaling technologies like DLSS, FSR, and FrameGen, hitting 90 or 120 FPS isn't reserved for just top-tier hardware anymore. 60 FPS is no longer the technical ceiling, it's the new baseline. Gamers' expectations have shifted. What once felt premium now feels limiting. So, is 60 FPS obsolete? Not entirely. 60 FPS is still a solid minimum, and far better than 30. But in 2025, with powerful hardware and affordable high refresh rate displays, 60 FPS is no longer the ideal. It's the starting point. Once you experience smooth gameplay at 120 or 144 FPS, it's hard to go back. And that's why the 60 FPS benchmark is becoming a thing of the past. So, if 60 FPS is old news, why do developers still promote it like it's the pinnacle of performance? Simple. It's safe. 60 FPS has become the lowest common denominator. A benchmark that sounds good to casual gamers, runs reliably on a wide range of hardware, and avoids technical complaints from reviewers. It's the performance level most rigs can hit with decent visuals, and from a marketing standpoint, it makes the game sound smooth without alienating lower end users. Not everyone has a high refresh rate monitor or a powerful graphics card. So when a game says it can run max settings at 60 FPS, what they're really saying is, we've optimized this enough that won't tank your system. But here's the thing. Max settings at 60 FPS is often misleading. Most competitive or serious players don't play at max settings. They lower shadows, turn off motion blur, and tweak settings to get smoother gameplay, because for them, FPS is king. The truth is, 60 FPS is no longer the finish line. It's the minimum viable product, and devs know that. They just also know that for marketing, 60 FPS still sounds like a win, even if most gamers are now aiming for 100, 120, or more. Unfortunately, this can be deceptive. These 60 FPS benchmarks that developers advertise are only achieved by using the top of the top hardware. Something like an RTX 5090 graphics card, a 9800 X3D processor, and 64 gigs of RAM. Despite being the goal 15 years ago, achieving 60 FPS with a $4,000 computer does not sound good today. In the past, 60 FPS on max settings was advertised as achievable with mid-level hardware, not the top of the top. Over 15 years later, with the Xbox and PlayStation now having 120 FPS support, why has that ceiling not been increased? Why are games not optimized to run at 120 FPS at max settings? The capabilities of gaming hardware have increased dramatically over the years, but the max settings benchmark frame rates have not. But that's a topic for another day.